Hello everybody and welcome back to Juno New Origins, where if you are watching this, that means that this is a successful run at getting this done. At least some definition of success. We complete the contract. I don't make any promises on cleanly landing this thing. Okay, so we're immediately going to look to bank out over this way. That is 100% going to be happening. There we go. And now we're just working on building up a little bit of airspeed and keeping our nose up. Excellent. So, we've improved a bit on getting through checkpoint 8. That definitely happened last episode. Let's make our way around this direction, keep our nose relatively up, and make our way through checkpoint 3 here. There we go. Checkpoint 4 is, of course, out over this way. We have to get turned all the way around. Excellent. We're going to need to nose down, drop a little bit of altitude, and then just kind of bank our way around here, like so. There we go. And then, of course, checkpoint 5. Checkpoint 5 is fairly simple. And we'll just bring this over here. Something along the lines of this. Cool. So far, so good. We'll see how this goes. Remember, we have lots and lots of time, especially for that landing. I'm going to absolutely take our time for the landing. That is 100% going to be what's going to happen. Okay, checkpoint 6. Out over this way, and we wanted to overshoot that a little bit and bring it out over here. Cool. I still want to overshoot it a little bit and come out this way a little further to come at this from a slightly different angle. Okay. So, checkpoint 6. We're going to nose up a little bit here, maybe not quite that much up. There we go. Checkpoint 7, we need to stay low. There we go. And here's the spicy boy. Let's see how checkpoint 8 goes. Once again, we need to stay low, and we need to turn into it. Okay. Ooh, that's so spicy. Okay, we got it. Now, checkpoint 9. This guy is going to be very interesting. Oh, okay. We were just kind of sliding sideways there. Let's let this settle. And let's take our time. Okay. Performing a flip. And let's head on in. Yeah, I definitely got a little bit eager on that checkpoint 9 turn. It's a pretty tight turn, and it's right after performing a very, very complicated dive. So let's get turned again. And let's head in to checkpoint 10. Cool. So something kind of like that. And then, of course, checkpoint 11 is out over this direction. Just going to need to get lined up a little bit better. There we go. And checkpoint 12. Which is, of course, a ways away. I think checkpoint 8 is never not going to be spicy. I think that's just the way that this works. Okay, overbanking this a bit. There we go. And let's get out of this little crevice that we're in. Perfect. So up to checkpoint 13. We, of course, know that we need to come around this direction. And the real key to this is just taking our time. Don't worry about the timer until we have to worry about the timer. For now, all I'm worried about is getting through the checkpoints. And then that landing. We'll need to figure out where we want our engines to be in terms of what power level. And I'm thinking this time I may try somewhere around 10-ish% is what I'm thinking. So there's checkpoint 13 scratched off of the list. Let's head over to checkpoint 14. Ooh, we picked up a little bit of lateral momentum there. That was almost not good. Luckily, we weren't trying to do any precision flying at that time. Okay, so checkpoint 14, and then, of course, after that, we just need to get our landing done. So we're at the point, at this point, where we're consistently getting through every checkpoint, or fairly consistently. I have a feeling that I'm still going to fail some of those 8s occasionally, but we're mostly getting through them. Here's checkpoint 14. And now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to significantly overshoot the village, and we're going to get turned around once we have like 4 or 5 kilometers to get lined up here. So we're going to head out over this direction. We're going to come in kind of high. I'd like to get turned around like past this peak here, somewhere around here. So, like I said, we're going to definitely come at this much, much faster. I'm going to put this at about 10% on the engines. Okay, so we've got about 5 kilometers here, and let's begin a banking maneuver. We're looking to lose airspeed right now. And come in at a slightly better angle here. Now, we're going to have to glide this guy right on up. Man, the actual angle on this is quite complicated. Yeah, okay. We're gonna have to take another pass on that one. That was close, but we have to hit a very, very precise angle there. Now, we're only at 10% thrust here. So let's bring this around. I'm going to bump us up to 60% thrust. We're going to build up a little bit of airspeed. And we're going to take another run at this. So, once again, I'm just getting us some distance. Okay. So now let's get this banked. I'm dropping our engines. We are now gliding. So we're losing airspeed at this time. Okay. So that succeeded, kind of. We could actually just end the flight here. We don't actually have to land this, apparently. Okay, well, that's interesting, for sure. But I'm going to land it anyway. Look at that. That is a 100% nominal landing right there. That's how that works. We didn't have any parts explode. So I'm going to call that a nominal landing. Fun fact, that was my first attempt today. Cool. So we're going to, of course, recover this craft. Beautiful. So that's that contract completed. And if we check in here, we can see that... Ooh. Get in range of the alley base. I definitely want to do this. Okay, so we're trying to validate the new alley-based radars. Fly for 10 kilometers under 150 meters above the ground while going at Mach 1 above or near the base. What is Mach 1 in meters per second? Hang on, I gotta look that up. Mach 1 in meters per second. 343 meters per second. So the craft that we have right now isn't actually going to be Mach 1. This is not a Mach 1 craft. Interesting. So we would need to increase the power of it, I think. I definitely want to accept this. That's a new location, and we need to get that. So that's absolutely wonderful. I do want to do this expansion of Spaceport Esperanza. This is mildly bugged, and we'll figure out how that's bugged soon enough. So if we go into here, do we have to build, or rather, do we have to launch this from the new location? We could launch it from, like, the alley pad. It's too wide for the alley pad. Okay, so we could launch it then from the Juno Village and fly to the location. That would take a while to get there, I would think. Let's just put it out on the village runway for right now, and I want to see where these locations are. Okay, so we need to get in range of the alley base. That's 779 kilometers away. Okay. So, we need to get in range of the alley base. Our altitude above ground level needs to be less than 150 meters. And the Mach needs to be greater than 1, and we need to fly more than 10 kilometers. So, presumably, this doesn't have to all be at once. Presumably. Now, we definitely could take off and fly over to the alley base. Again, I'm not convinced that this thing goes fast enough. So we can take this off and see if we have enough airspeed. And if we have enough airspeed, then we could do it. Otherwise, we're going to have to increase our airspeed on this. And that will definitely affect our balance. So that is noted. Now, flying 700, 800 kilometers, that's going to take a while at 300 meters per second. That's like 3 seconds per kilometer, right? So that's definitely going to take some time. No doubt about that. Ground level will be lower over there as well, so the air will be a little thicker. So our top speed is, I think, going to be lower because we're going to be closer to sea level, right? That said, our jet engines might compensate for that. So that's definitely noted. We can head out here. The real question that I have right now isn't, can we get to the alley base? Because we can definitely get to the alley base from here. There's no doubt about that. The real question that I have is this craft fast enough? And I don't believe that it gets fast enough. The other question is mechanical, and that is simply, do we need to fly 10 kilometers all in the same go? Or can we dip down, get a kilometer or two, raise back up, circle back around, and do it that way? It's a little unclear the way the contract is worded. For now, though, you can see we're currently chilling at about 245 meters per second. Ultimately, the highest I think I've seen on this is 300 and some meters per second, although that will improve. Our thrust to weight will go up as we burn fuel. Are we burning fuel from this hemisphere? Because we do have fuel in this. Yes, we are. Okay. So we will definitely burn fuel and get some additional speed on the way over to the alley base. And like I said, this is going to be about 3 seconds per kilometer. So overall, this would be a very, very lengthy journey. And I think that we need to increase our overall airspeed here. I would also like to address this natural down pitch that we have on this design. That would definitely be a good thing to have. Retractable landing legs might help matters. Do these have drag? They do. Okay, so retractable landing legs would definitely help matters. You can see here we have moved up to about 285 meters per second. I am wondering what our maximum speed is going to be. We know that we're going to need about 350 meters per second or thereabouts. Now, we could get that through dives with this design if we can fly 10 kilometers, not all at once. So 10 kilometers at that speed, of course, means that we're going to be flying for somewhere around 30 seconds at that altitude, which isn't too bad. But this will be a long, long journey. And this journey is something that I'm intending to do off camera, and will arrive at the alley base eventually. Because, yeah, it's a long ways away. No doubt about that. But I am wondering very, very much about the... Okay, go ahead and lock this position here. Okay, lock this position. Yeah, so somewhere around there. We're still nosing down a little bit, but maybe if we were to lock about here, that might do the trick. The other thing we could do is we could just put in a pitch rule and compensate for it this way. So we can do a slider here, and we can set the pitch by default to be like -25 or something like that. But that's not really what I want to do. So here we're going to be constantly gaining altitude, and you can see our speed is going down because of that. So if we wanted to get rid of this, we have a natural down pitch, and that'll bring us down into a dive, right? So if we were to dive down like this, what do we cap out at? Well, this is over Mach 1 here. That's definitely over Mach 1. Can we maintain that speed for any amount of time? Arguably, yes. We are losing speed here, but it's not a lot of speed. Okay, let's pull this back, and let's increase the engines a little bit. So this is going to change the overall balance of the craft, and that's understood. We're currently at 50% on our jet engine. The compression ratio will increase fuel efficiency, but also increase the length and weight of the core. Okay, we don't have afterburner on this right now. We haven't unlocked that tech. Sure. So let's just increase the size of the engines up to about 75. Now that is... Apparently we can't actually go to 75 here. 74 and 76. I guess we're going to sit at 76. So I'm going to save this for right now. And this is going to change our weight balance, our weight distribution. And that's going to be a potential problem. But let's see what that does as far as our flyability and our overall top speed. So we'll be able to take off quite early here with the engines at this height. We're fairly maneuverable, but it has an extremely pronounced downward pitch to it. It's manageable. Like, I could manually fly that and compensate for it. I would rather not. Yeah, it really does like to pitch down. But you can see here, our surface speed by default is much, much faster. So that's, you know, reasonably nice. And then we can just kind of head over to the alley base. Maneuverability is not too bad. So this craft is a fair amount faster. Got a little bit of wiggling there. But we don't have to precision fly it necessarily. So this is like 450 meters per second. This might even get up to like 500 meters per second, which would definitely help matters a lot as long as we don't start taking heat damage up in this hemisphere. That's the question. Okay, let's pull this back. I'm content with the speed at 75% on these engines. Now, let's take a quick peek at our center of mass. That is not what I wanted to do. Undo that. So you can see here, our center of mass is very slightly forward. This has moved it back a fair amount. I want to grab these engines and just move it back not like that, to approximately where it was, which is something kind of like this. And let's see what that does to the nose down force. That might increase the nose down as I think about it. We'll see. Let's see how this feels. I'm not interested in flying all the way to the alley base this episode. That is something that will happen between episodes. But I am very much interested in... That was an awkward takeoff. I'm very much interested in seeing how this nosing goes. Okay. It's naturally nosing down, but it does feel like it's nosing down less. It might be fairly stable once we get up to speed. So let's head out over this direction, and let's just let this get up to speed. We can set the natural pitch to maybe around minus 10%. Minus 40%. Okay, that's a little too much. Minus 30%. That has a very, very slight nose down to it. About minus 35%. Okay. It's not the most maneuverable thing in the world, but it is quite fast. And at this point, it's quite stable. Okay. Let's park it basically right on the horizon here. It does have a very slight downturn to it still, but it's manageable. Retractable landing gear would help a lot. Now it has a natural nose up. I'd like it to be naturally stable, right? So we'll try it at about 45. This is just a matter of dialing that in. And you can see here, we are still accelerating at about 500 meters per second. We've picked up a little bit of a roll here. But this is definitely doable to get ourselves over to the alley base quite quickly. So that seems reasonably fine. We could then get rid of the pitch compensation. The idea behind this is we're still slightly nosing down, aren't we? Let's try 48. It's probably never going to be perfectly stable. That's one way to do things. Okay, I'm going to pull this back one more time here, and the reason is because I want to investigate, do we have access to retractable landing gear at this point? So where is that? That's an interesting question. Surely there's retractable landing gear somewhere, right? Wonder if it would be down, like, over here? Airplane landing gear? That would be what we would want. Okay. So retractable landing gear is, I think, out of reach right now for this moment. Assuming we don't already have a retractable landing gear, but I don't believe we do. So that would definitely be ideal. I think at this point, all we need to do is fly to the alley base. And that's going to take a little while. Like I said, that's going to be something that is going to happen off camera. So I'm going to save this plane, and I might tweak the positioning of the engines a little bit and run a little bit of testing on that. But off camera, I'm going to fly to the alley base, and next episode, we're going to be basically right at the alley base, and that will be wonderful. What do we have right now for fuel in here? Is this maxed? It is. We could add dead weight here, but I don't think we want to. Okay. As I said, we're going to be flying to the alley base, and we'll be there next episode. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Atala, Andy Magar, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Xenocyte, Hiro Marutsu, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.